What would be the ultimate solution for climate change? How does the Pope plan to save the world? What would be the prophetic significance of the November 1 UN Climate Change Conference? I'm Brother Jericho for Truth in Bible Prophecy. Kindly subscribe to this channel and like and share this video to all. May the Lord bless you as you watch this video called November 1, The World Will Bow to the Beast.
Ensuring every nation does its part, and we'll meet again in Glasgow in November for the UN Climate Conference.
Ci lasceremo guidare da 7 obiettivi del Laudato Si.
People across the world are already living with devastating extreme weather, heightened by the changing climate. The climate is already changing and will continue to change even as we reduce emissions with devastating effects. The world is currently not on track to limit global warming to 1.5 degrees. If we continue as we are, temperatures will carry on rising, bringing even more catastrophic flooding, bushfires, extreme weather, and destruction of species. Forests play a vital role in removing carbon from the air. Protecting them is critical if climate goals are to be achieved. Cleaning up the air and reduce carbon emissions by switching to driving zero-emission cars, vans, and trucks. The COVID-19 pandemic has brought devastation to millions around the world, disrupting many parts of the global economy. Governments have stepped up to protect lives and livelihoods, but climate change has continued and it ultimately threatens life on Earth. To achieve our climate goals, every company, every financial firm, every bank, insurer, and investor will need to change. In November, the UK, together with partners from Italy, will host an event many believe to be the world's best last chance to get runaway climate change under control. COP26 or COP26 is the 2021 United Nations Climate Change Conference. For nearly 3 decades, the UN has been bringing together almost every country on Earth for global climate summits called COPs, which stands for Conference of the Parties. In that time, climate change has gone from being a fringe issue to a global priority. The aim of the event is to underline the importance and urgency of the world's largest economies to up their environmental efforts ahead of the COP26 UN Climate Summit scheduled to take place in Glasgow from November 1 to 12, 2021. With the goal of limiting global warming to 1.5 degrees Celsius, 34.7 Fahrenheit. The difference between 1.5 and 2 degrees is substantial. Every increment of a degree translates into increased risk for people, communities, and ecosystems. The UK's overarching aim for the Glasgow Summit is to keep 1.5 degrees alive. A successful outcome in Glasgow also requires developed countries to honor a promise they made back in 2009 of mobilizing 100 billion per year by 2020 to support climate action in developing countries. The official figures for 2020 will not be available until 2022, but it is clear the goal was not met last year. Recent announcements, including President Joe Biden's pledge to double U.S. climate finance, have brought developed countries closer to honoring the pledge.
I announced the United States will double our public international financing to help developing nations tackle the climate crisis.
But more will need to be done to restore credibility and strengthen trust. In the run-up to COP26, the UK is working with every nation to reach agreement on how to tackle climate change. World leaders will arrive in Scotland alongside tens of thousands of negotiators, government representatives, businesses, and citizens for 12 days of talks. Pope Francis said he plans to make several papal trips before the end of the year, including to Scotland in early November to attend the UN Climate Change Conference. His attendance at COP26 would mark the first time a pontiff has come to Glasgow since Benedict XVI in 2010. The Vatican announced plans to partner in an event bringing together scientists and leaders of the world's religions ahead of COP26. Pope Francis is expected to host about 36 religious leaders from around the world at a meeting at the Vatican for the summit. Faith and Science Towards COP26 will take place on October 4 at the Vatican. The event is being organized by the British and Italian embassies to the Holy See. Other world leaders such as President Joe Biden and Prime Minister Boris Johnson are also expected to be in the city for the summit. The Pope criticized former U.S. President Donald Trump's withdrawal of the United States from the 2015 Paris Accord to limit global warming. The Vatican welcomed President Joe Biden's return to the accord. Biden's climate envoy John Kerry met Francis in May and said he hoped the Pope would attend the COP26 because the pontiff has the moral authority to sway public opinion and climate change. Well, the Pope is one of the great voices of reason and compelling moral authority on the subject of the climate crisis. He has been ahead of the curve. He has been a leader. His encyclical Laudato Si is really a very, very powerful document, eloquent and morally very persuasive. I think his voice will be a very important voice leading up to and through the Glasgow Conference. Revelation 13 verse 4. So they worship the dragon who gave authority to the beast, and they worship the beast, saying, "Who is like the beast, who is able to make war with him?" How can the papal Antichrist of Bible prophecy unite the world into one world worship? Answer: by bringing in climate change in the forefront. Francis will make the specific recommendations to address the problem. The Save the Planet Crusade will provide a perfect forum at that time to encourage the world to set aside Sunday as a means of giving the environment and the oppressed poor a rest and to allow families time to gather together for worship. Revelation 13 verse 11. Then I saw another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had two horns like a lamb and spoke like a dragon. The dragon is a symbol of Satan working through the instrumentality of Rome. The dragon in the book of Revelation is always identified with the different stages of Rome. Rome tried to kill Jesus. Papal Rome attempted to destroy the saints during the 1260 years, and the United States, acting as the agent of a resurrected Papal Rome, will attempt to destroy the final remnant. It seems unbelievable, but the power which had two horns like a lamb will end up speaking like the dragon. The United States will help the papacy get its power back. It will blend church and state and impose the mark of the beast on the pain of death. We have seen that the sea beast represents the papacy and the land beast represents the United States of America. Quite shocking that the second beast, the United States of America, will speak as a spokesperson for the first beast, the papacy. Now that Pope Francis has the support of President Joe Biden in this climate change, we will see prophecy fulfilling in plain sight. The next step in the climate change and poverty strategy of the papacy is attending the COP26 and discuss global climate change, and will make specific recommendations to address the problem. Here is Pope Francis's appeal to the whole world. Both global disasters, COVID-19 and the climate, shows that we no longer have any time to wait. The time is pressing us, and that as COVID-19 has taught us, yes, we have the means to face the challenge. Francis said, adding, "We have the means. It is the moment to act. We are at the limit." Francis recited an old Spanish saying that God always forgives. We men forgive sometimes, but nature never forgives. Pope Francis closed his message with an appeal to all world leaders, urging them to act with courage, operate with justice, and always tell the truth to people so that the people will know how to protect themselves from the destruction of the planet, how to protect the planet from the destruction that we often trigger. Laudato Si paragraph 13, the urgent challenge to protect our common home includes a concern to bring the whole human family together, to seek a sustainable and integral development. For we know that things can change. Humanity still has the ability to work together in building our common home. Francis suggested the elimination of carbon gases, carpooling, planting trees, turning off unnecessary lights, restricting the use of air conditioning, recycling and boycotting certain products, as well as giving the planet a Sunday rest will help solve the problem. The Pope also called for international treaties that will pressure the affluent countries to help poorer ones adapt, including a move to help them switch from fossil fuels to clean energy such as solar power. Thus, he stated in paragraph 33 that the establishment of a legal framework which can set clear boundaries and ensure the protection of ecosystems has become indispensable. As our world is experiencing the devastating effects of the coronavirus, and we are learning from the mistakes done from the pandemic, instituting a mandatory rest and make it a law is uprising. If we do not make it a law, companies will just exploit continuously and damage the environment 7 days a week. This has been in the Pope's thinking in this climate change issue. No perfect time than now must be dedicated for restorative judgment because the whole world now is groaning. Our top priority is to focus our attention to the earth's fragility and that we all have a responsibility to heal the world. Mandatory Sunday rest, among other things, is what Pope Francis is suggesting. Reading once more paragraph 237, Laudato Si. Sunday is the day of the resurrection, first day of the new creation, whose first fruits are the Lord's risen humanity, the pledge of the final transfiguration of all created reality. It also proclaims man's eternal rest in God. It is noteworthy that Pope Francis uses the resurrection of Jesus to be honored, recognizing it as the first day of the new creation, and Sunday proclaiming it as man's eternal rest in God. However, if we are going to test these claims from the Bible alone, Pope Francis' statements is in steep error. Or do you not know that as many of us as were baptized into Christ Jesus were baptized into his death? Therefore we were buried with him through baptism into death, that just as Christ was raised from the dead by the glory of the Father, even so we also should walk in newness of life. There is indeed a memorial of resurrection commanded in the Bible, but it is not keeping Sunday holy. Romans 6 verse 4. Baptism is the memorial of Christ's death, burial, and resurrection. There is no command to remember the first day of the week, Sunday. The basis for keeping the seventh-day Sabbath remains the direct command from God. Exodus 20 verse 8 to 11 and Deuteronomy 5 verse 12 to 15. Reading on to what Francis said in paragraph 237, the law of weekly rest forbade work on the seventh day, so that your ox and your donkey may have rest, and the son of your maidservant and the stranger may be refreshed. Pope Francis quoted Exodus 23 verse 12. But this is not Sunday. This verse, God points to the seventh-day Sabbath rest. Do not fall for this manipulation and deception, friends. Pope Francis is the most influential religious leader, and people will turn to him for guidance and support in this crisis we are facing and gain worldwide support. Revelation 13 verse 3, and all the world wondered after the beast. Let's go back in the time of Jesus. The Pharisees and the religious leaders condemned Jesus to die for breaking the Sabbath, John chapter 9 and John chapter 5, and his messianic claims. These opponents of Jesus were men who the people have been taught from infancy to reverence, to whose authority they have been accustomed implicitly to bow. How is it, they ask, that our rulers and learned scribes do not believe Jesus? Would not these pious men receive him if he were the Christ? It was the influence of such teachers that led the Jewish nation to reject the Redeemer and make Jesus the biggest violator of the Sabbath. My brothers and sisters, November 1 will be a momentous occasion where all the religious leaders, together with the Pope, to agree on a drastic step to resolve the climate change. I'm very sure that the Pope's voice will surface and will blow his trumpet on mandating a day of rest, Sunday. Every 7-day Sabbath, God reminds us that He is our Creator and we are to take care of the environment as He has given us dominion over His creation. Will you stand for Bible truth? Kindly type in the comment section, "My heart belongs to Jesus." The Bible is our only guide in life. Place your lasting trust and confidence in Jesus, and may we all continue to seek truth in Bible prophecy.